All right, everything sound right for you, man?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, sea monkeys. Well, Murphy, of whom Jacobin magazine once officially said, Jesus fucking Christ, and socked him, Twitter czar, IPM called a coward, welcoming you to Leftendo. But who is Captain Murphy? I'm a resident. I'm the resident neighbor Scientologist, the professor of janitorial sciences, mystic pervert, utopian fail son, Nintendo fanboy, and all around weirdo, welcoming you all to this, my shitcast. I'm coming to you live and worldwide from somewhere under the ocean near an active volcano. It's hot as fuck! This week, episode 2, Pauper Revolution. Joining me is CheetahSquad. Hey!
Yo, yo, what's up?
Nothing much. Tonight, on this episode of Leftendo, CheetahSquad has finally got his hands on a Switch. The media must be murdered, and Octopath Traveler. Octa-fucking-path Traveler. And on tap tonight, because it is so fucking hot, I have, weirdly, a local cider called Octarock, which is a total accident. And you know what? I don't like it. I like the cheap shit that Miller makes. This stuff is not sweet enough. When I want cider, I want cider. This tastes like fucking beer. But, anyway, let's get into the news from hell. Speaking of Octopath Traveler, it has sold over 1 million copies in less than 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. And I talked about this in a recent vlog. You know, I've been arguing with Switch YouTubers on and off about how they think the Switch doesn't have good enough games and there's not enough third-party titles. And like, I was telling them Octopath Traveler's coming out and they just don't listen to me. And then this happens. But moving on. The
Show
second,
those assholes.
yeah, well, yeah, I bought it, so I guess I'm part of the solution rather than the problem. The second Venom trailer dropped, and it actually looks really good. I know you saw it, right?
Yeah, I was actually impressed with it. I was not going in with any high expectations for that. Particularly anything Sony touches with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's from Sony, and as we all know, Sony is that company that made 2 decent-ish Spider-Man, then then rebooted it after they made that third horrible one, and since then they gave Spider-Man to MCU, and they're like, hey, you do whatever with this, you know, we just want money, and they just started making like 20 or 30 fucking Adam Sandler movies. That's what Sony is to me. They just make Adam Sandler movies, you know.
Yeah, and Netflix is getting a little bit on the Adam Sandler train.
Oh yeah, I know. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I mean, at this point, because I'm a fucking weirdo, I just like to watch stuff on like free things because I just rather watch weird shit than have to deal with Netflix because there's just nothing on anymore for me. I've watched Star Trek too many times.
Yeah, yeah. I got Canadian Netflix, unfortunately, so it's even worse.
Oh, you're in Canada?
Yes, it's even more of a waste of money up here.
I mean, there's things that I really like, but I'm
I'm
Netflix
still
out. I'd
wasting
rather
that
just,
money, but
yeah, that's true. That's
but
true.
yeah,
Sometimes.
you can stream anything for, you don't need any of these services still.
Well, that's true. That's true. Other news. Let's see. The Make Rojava Green Again crowdfunding campaign is almost over, and it's very close to reaching its goal. The goal is of 5,000 euros, and it's meant to be used to publish Make Rojava Green Again and support the internationalist commune of Rojava. One copy of the forthcoming book is only 10 euros, so if you'd like to put your communalist money where your mouth is, consider giving 10 euros, which I don't know what 10 euros is in dollars, but it's not much. Anyway, the link to that will be in the description of the shitcast.
Yeah, you should definitely buy that. I haven't gotten my order yet, but I'm working on it for sure. I just got paid on Friday, so I'll definitely probably put this in this weekend or
Oh
today.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm super stoked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the campaign ends tomorrow, and I get paid tomorrow, so I'm going to try and get in there at the end.
Like, yeah.
And before the show started, we were talking about the heat. It was 115 fucking degrees in Portugal yesterday.
Damn.
But everything's fine. It's just fine. There's fire all around us.
Yeah, the Arctic Circle is burning deeper than ever before. We got a couple major ice shelves set to break off. The that alone could bring catastrophic results. You know, heat waves killing people across Canada, Japan, Europe. No big deal though. That's just summer.
Yeah, I was thinking like, you know, that meme where that dog is just sitting in the kitchen, it's
Yeah,
on fire.
this is fine.
Yeah, but I thought like, you know, he doesn't even have to be in the kitchen anymore. He can just walk outside and everything's on fire.
Yeah, exactly. But the new normal, it's not even worth talking about anymore. We should all just sort of,
Yeah.
shut up about it.
I don't, you know, I've been into solar punk a little, and I'm thinking like I should write a solar punk story where we're in like a future, like 50 years from now, where everyone has to live under because it's so fucking hot.
It will become the mole people.
Yeah, I was living off mushrooms. But yeah, never mind the existential nightmare that is climate change. Let's move on to something also awful. Let's see. Fascist pigs protect literal Nazis by firing into crowds of nonviolent protesters at the Portland Patriot prayer rally. And MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, Channel 6, 7, 8, 9, AOL, Netscape, and everyone else remain silent as if held to a censorship edict from on high. Cheetah. Is it totalitarianism when the media self-censors so much that it's as if Stalin's decomposing corpse sprung to life and put a gun to their head himself?
Uh, well, I guess
Because
it
I don't know.
depends who you ask. If you ask the Koch brothers, they'd say no, that's just democracy.
That's right.
That's capitalism. That's how it's supposed to go. But if you ask me, I would say whether or not it fits some technical definition of totalitarianism, the effect is of totalitarianism. So really, it's not worth distinguishing it that way because whether or not you're repressing this information through a network of class people, people who have the similar class interest to yourself, or it's one dude literally sitting there saying, "Don't, this is yes, this is no." The effect is the same, and we should condemn it as such, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think that the media would say no, it's freedom.
Of course,
Freedom to not
free press.
know that our
America's been
country
free
is.
press, right?
That's right. Freedom to know that our country and bloody, violent conflict that the corporate media actively obscures as they put their diamond encrusted fingers in their ears and sit on their $50,000 ass transplants screaming, Russia! Later, when they go home to their mansions and their gated communities and dine on the finest free range, organic, unprocessed, harm free, no antibiotic ham with their adoring, ugly family, they will know the peace that only the. Are the press enemies of the people, Cheetah?
Are the press enemies of the people? That's a good question. I don't know. Is Julian Assange friendly to the people, do you think? The press is a lot of people these days. You know, a lot of people. I like gonzo journalists, but are they considered the press? You know, is who is the press? Is it only CNN? Is it also Unicorn Riot? Is it uh, indie media? I don't know, but in general, I think the function that the press ideally is supposed to be filling is necessary, but at the moment, clearly, if you look at the state of America, I'd say the press is fulfilling the opposite role. It is not a watchdog of the government. It is a distraction that benefits, the wealthy elites who are the ones who control most of the government in America. Even Stanford says it's an oligarchy, so something's wrong when,
Yeah.
when even Stanford's coming out with all its wealthy backers and saying wealth is having too much influence. So is the press a class enemy? I would say functionally a large, to use the MAGA crowd's favorite term, the mainstream media. It might be a class enemy, but is it intentionally a class enemy? I think it's more just a function of the general corruption that wealth has brought to the whole world at this point, where under neoliberalism, really money is power, and that's the end of it. You're cutting out there. I don't know if you're. We may have lost Murphy to the digital demons once again.
Well,
Oh, there he's
what
coming.
you just said there was far more nuanced than what I wrote.
I think you should tell use the visceral feelings and put them forth. Let's slaughter the snake. Let's hear it. Oh.
Ha! Can you hear me?
You're coming. It sounds like you're tripping on shrooms or something. You're talking very slow.
All right.
Oh, there you go. Now I can kind of hear you.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, yeah,
Hello.
you're coming. Hey, yo. Now you're through.
All right, then. I was going to go on a rant about cutting the head off the snake and storming the barricades of their palatial mansions, but maybe we'll move on.
No, I want to hear this rant. I can hold the cognitive dissonance of both
I
at the
hope you
same
can hear
time,
me.
and I do hold the cognitive dissonance of of wanting to storm their palatial estates, and
Hello?
and keeping a nuanced opinion. So let's hear it. I want the visceral death and destruction of the satisfaction of disemboweling the rich pigs in the press in the New York Times. Uh-oh. Did Murph get smurfed? Maybe let's see if I can read the rant. Where is it?
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. What did I write? Later when
Did Murph get
what I'm talking about. This is why it's
Uh-oh. It's the bandwidth hogs over at Murph's.
hello.
Oh, hey. You're coming in and out. You got little periods of speech, but
Damn, this is stupid.
fucking C-Lab, you got to get a better connection, man. You'd think you'd have all that Scientology money. Well, let me answer the question.
It's probably
Okay, I'm gonna try and give his short rant here. Are the press the enemies of the people? You better believe it, and we must rise up and utterly destroy them. Storm the barricades of their gated imagination world and drag them out screaming. Cut the head off the snake, my people. They are slithering tongues that hide the demons inside. Rise up and destroy them. No nuance needed. That being said, shout out to Demand Utopia for representing it on a Unicorn Riot. Murphy and I both loved those inflatable sunflower suits they brought out to counter the fash, both in uniform and out of uniform in Portland there. And that was fucking awesome to see. Demand Utopia is always out there with the green guys, the green people. And yeah, if you don't know about Demand Utopia, definitely look them up. They're some awesome fucking people.
I very much agree with you.
Nice. Yes. So you want to talk about Octopath Traveler if you got a little bit of bandwidth tokens to spare?
No. I want to hear you talk about the Switch. You finally got to check it out. Tell us all about it and tell us what you think of Zelda.
Oh my fucking god. I'm obsessed with this thing. It is my childhood updated. It's like all the things that I grew up with put into one handy little thing I can take anywhere and like hold 3 inches from my face and play until 3 a.m. every night. It is fucking great. I love the Switch. It's fucking awesome. It's not mine, unfortunately. It's my cousin's. I'm borrowing it for like a week. But I've been playing mostly Zelda, but so far played Mario Tennis, which is great. I loved Mario Tennis 64. It's now like more fast paced than ever. And if you love Waluigi, then you'll love Mario Tennis. And who doesn't love that stud? So Mario Tennis is dope. Shovel Knight is dope. There's like to be some other good indie games, but I haven't played them yet. Octopath Traveler, as we'll learn about soon. It looks fucking awesome. But other than that, I've played mostly Zelda and a little bit of Odyssey. And I'm stoked about Odyssey, but I probably have the most to say about Zelda. Um, I don't know. Do you want to say anything about the Switch before I talk about Zelda?
I was just going to say that I've said this before, I'm one of the 5 people that actually bought a Wii U, and that's a totally failed system.
Yeah, the
But
Wii U sucked.
Go ahead.
Just the Wii U sucked. I just played my friends, and I was not impressed.
Well, it had really good
It's
games.
Smash Bros, though.
Yeah, it had really good games, but it was just poorly designed. I don't know what they were thinking about. And but the thing I bring it up for is the Switch is kind of like what they wanted the Wii U to be, which is like a system that you could carry anywhere and be like a handheld, but then also you could hook it up to a TV.
Yeah.
And so the Wii U had to exist for the Switch to come. So I'm glad it did, but
yeah. It's the missing link. It's we all know how evolution works. There's no divine creator. We have to go through several steps to get here, and here we got, and it's fucking great. They did it properly. And this is definitely, I think they've been trying to get another flagship console. Like, the Wii was a flagship console, but it didn't really have the longevity that, like say, like people were playing Xbox and PlayStation well after they had stopped playing their Wiis. But this one seems like this one's gonna last as long as like N64 did or GameCube did. This one's fucking dope. But yeah, the Zelda, I mean, all the games look fantastic on this thing. They're as always, I mean, the first party games for Nintendo are always stellar, and they keep making them better. And they've so far succeeded with all the ones that I've played here. They're fucking dope. And yeah, Zelda is like stylistically stunning in my opinion. It looks fucking awesome. And it's punishing, it's difficult. Like I always remembered Zelda games where, on the N64, I don't think I ever beat Majora's Mask. Yeah, you can get one-shotted by monsters. It's like the most RPG-like Zelda, so it's kind of got some new game mechanics for a Zelda game, which are all fucking awesome. And yeah, I think they did. It's bringing back nostalgia up the wazoo. I feel like I'm 11 years old again, playing all the classics. You're going through all the same classic domains, but they all got new twists, like the Zora and the Goron and all the great your favorite Zelda characters are there.
yeah.
And the boss fights are freaking epic. Like holy shit, these are the most epic boss fights in a Zelda game that I've ever played. Like I'm literally like my heart rate is like through the fucking roof, and I am feeling real adrenaline in these things. So yeah, I don't know. I love this game. I'm totally obsessed with it. I wanted to play a lot of the other games, but I've mostly just been playing Zelda because it's so good.
No, I get that. I get that. I was going to say, we said off the air before we started that you've probably played it more than me because I only just got Zelda. And how many hours are you into it? Do you know?
I don't know. I can maybe check, but yeah, I'm not sure entirely. I would say at least a few dozen hours, maybe like 48 hours. I don't know. I've been playing pretty solid. Like this weekend, pretty much it's been on all the entire time, and then after work every night I was playing it. Although one of these nights, a couple of the nights I had things to do after work, but as basically once I start playing it, I don't put it down until late at like 1, 2 in the morning. So
Yeah. Well, I played it just maybe 3 hours at most. I only just got a little while ago. $60 games are hard for me to buy sometimes. I did buy Octopath, and that's because they got me with that 3-hour demo. But I try to find those games, the first party Nintendo games used. I did buy Odyssey when I bought my Switch, but that's because I had a lot of money because of a tax return.
Nice.
I want to get into it, but I haven't yet.
Well, there's lots waiting for you there. Like once you get into it, you'll be happy. But yeah, I'm looking at, I just started playing Odyssey and I'm starting to get into it now too. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Everybody says it's the best game they've played in like very long time. So I'm stoked about this one as well. It feels like Mario 64 with like some new mechanics like the hat and stuff. But it tripped me out. Some of it's pretty trippy. Like when you turn into a frog for the first time, like I don't know,
Yeah.
it's you can throw your hat on different creatures and then become them.
Hmm.
But when you do it to a frog the first time, it goes through this crazy trippy sequence that it felt
Hmm.
like I just put a tab of acid on my tongue. That was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Just so you know, it's not possession. Nintendo wants you to be clear that it's not possession. It's something they're not sure what, but it's not possession.
It's not possession. Okay.
Yes.
Well, it would have been a lot doper if it was possession, in my opinion. But
But it's possession. Come on.
it's definitely possession, and you get to possess a T-Rex. So
Oh
that's
my God.
if you ever wanted to possess a T-Rex in a Mario game, this is the game for you.
I so want to spoil the ending for you, but I'm not going to say anything more. I just that's my favorite game, possibly ever. Um, and I will say this: once you beat the game, you've only beaten half the game, so it's a big.
Yeah, that's what I hear is like getting all the moons and all the other things. That's most of the game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. That's good. It sounds like it has a lot of playability, and yeah, like I said, the mechanics are all real smooth in it. It's like nice and simple. I don't have. It's telling me to play with this like what's it called, like the Joy Rig controls or something.
Mhm.
I don't know. You connect the two little. You detach the controllers and then connect them to it, and then it has like motion control, kind of like the Wii.
It does.
But
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, so I haven't been playing it that way. But
Oh
I've just been playing it with the things connected to it. But I should figure it out and get be playing it the right way, I guess.
no, no, no. It's perfectly fine. I didn't play it that way at all.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, I played it in handheld mode or on the TV. Especially, that brings up something. As I own a Switch now, I've owned it for less than a year. I was one of the late adopters. I feel your pain. Not having it for a long time. I primarily use my Switch as a handheld. I don't use it on the TV very much.
Yeah,
Um, it's just so convenient.
it is. I was worried about that. I when I first held that they or when I first heard that they were going to do like a handheld and TV device, I was a little suspicious.
Mhm.
But and I've played it on the TV with the controllers attached and the small ones, and that also I was surprised about how well that worked. Like I played Mario Kart that way and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's still just as fun and it still works just as well. And I was impressed about that. Uh, but I hadn't played it handheld until this week when I'd been borrowing it, and I've only played it handheld this whole week. And the screen looks great. It'd be nice if it was a glass screen, but other than that, it's still great. And it's like a perfect size. It's super convenient. You can really take it anywhere, and the battery actually lasts like a long time. It's pretty awesome. I'm impressed with the what they got accomplished in that like little. It's really light too. Like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that I don't like using it on the TV. I just live with people, so I can't use the TV all the time. I love it on
Totally.
the TV. It looks
Yeah,
just as
it still
good.
looks great on the TV. Yeah, the resolution scales up like perfectly. Yeah, they really got it both ways. I'm impressed.
Yeah, yeah. But so that's kind of your impressions of Zelda and the Switch. I'm just glad you got to try it out for a while. That's great. I hope you can get one sometime. It'd be nice if they put them on sale at some point, but you almost never see a sale on anything from Nintendo. That's one thing I
Yeah,
can, you
maybe
know,
Christmas time.
maybe.
But if not, then on Boxing Day, I guess. But
Yeah.
I want it before then, though.
I mean, I've only ever seen sales where it's like store wide, like an eBay like coupon code or something. Otherwise, I've never seen one on actual sale.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, like Nintendo really doesn't put their stuff on sale that often, if like ever for some things.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that if they actually bring out a new model, they'll just keep this old model and just get rid of the 3DS and knock down the price. Maybe throw out the dock and knock it down $100 because those docks are $100. So
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, if you could just just buy it handheld and for cheaper. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, 200. That would be cool. I'd buy. I mean, everyone would buy that shit. It'd be about the same as a.
Yeah, they'd probably sell like units would like soar through the roof for that. Because yeah, I would definitely like later buy the dock for $100 too, probably. But
Yeah,
if I could like if they brought that down $100, I would definitely just buy it now. Probably.
yeah,
I would skimp a little bit and just buy it now.
yep.
It's so good.
It is. It's really great. And you know, the indies on there are amazing. One thing I've been talking to my brother about and some other people is that the smartest fucking thing they ever did was to fully support Unreal Engine 4 on there because it makes it so
Yeah,
easy for, you know, indies to port their games, even big third-party games to port their games to the Switch.
yeah, that's awesome. That was really smart. The I've only played of India games. I've only played Shovel Knight, but Shovel Knight's pretty awesome, and that's a fun one to play.
Mhm.
But I actually played this like one like hip hop dance one for like 15 minutes, but that was also pretty good. But yeah, no, the indie store looks pretty like definitely has with some really quality games in there. But I've also heard that it's not regulated and that it's been getting kind of saturated with like not as quality games as well. So I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but
There's a chance that it might go the way of Steam, where there's just way too many fucking games. It will never have as many games as Steam, obviously, because it costs more to get it on the platform and stuff. But I mean, they had the president of Nintendo, the old president, talking to the shareholders about how we want to have 20 or 30 games come out every week, and that's, you know, as much as I love Nintendo, and I think a lot of the criticism of Nintendo is not correct. I don't want to say stupid because that's a bad word, but that's a really valid criticism. They really need to curate those games.
yeah,
They did add a featured section in the eShop, and that is kind of helpful. It's like, oh, so here's some fun games that we know are good.
yeah, exactly. Filtered a bit.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's I mean, it's hard because like any e-store for video games is competing with, you know, Steam and then even Ubisoft couldn't really get theirs off the ground. So it's tough
hmm
to start one. But yeah, like, the I'd be pissed if I like spent, $10 on a game and it was like super shitty. But whereas I don't know what their return policy is like. Like Steam actually has a, decent return policy.
Oh yeah, there's no return policy with the eShop. That's the one problem with that. But
Yeah,
I will say this: the eShop is saving a bunch of indie developers. It
that's
sells
nice.
games sell several times more on the eShop than they sell on Steam or Xbox Live or any of that shit. I'm thinking of recently, Super Meat Boy revealed that they sold almost as many games the day of release on the eShop as they sold on Xbox Live, and it came out years ago on the
Yeah,
Xbox 360. So it's fucking amazing that they sold that many copies.
that's crazy. That's good to hear. Actually, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because hey, I love Super Meat Boy. Yeah, I bought that on Xbox Live like I don't know in like high school, like years and years ago.
Yep.
Um, but so that's crazy. Good for Nintendo. It's good that I mean I figured like if anyone could compete with Steam, it would probably be Nintendo because like they have such a dedicated base of people who just love it. They have a ton of kids, and kids are
Yeah.
always buying shit off e-stores, especially if they got rich or middle class parents. And so like yeah, and it's just so easy, like to just like be holding this thing, like I can just like sit in bed and like hold it and just like browse through the e-store and like just buy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's convenient and there's like so many. I bet there's like so many hidden gems there. Like I haven't really explored the e-store super extensively. I've just sort of looked through it, but yeah, I love playing indie games, and so there's always like amazing hidden gems, and
Yeah.
this is a good platform to play those games. So
Yeah, well, I mean, even if it's a really old game, the fact is now you can play it on a handheld, where
yeah,
you couldn't before. I mean, so like Hands of Fate 2 just came out a couple days ago. That's like a 2, 3 year old game, but it was an Xbox or PS4 game, and now you can play it on a handheld.
yeah, exactly. Oh,
But
that's awesome.
maybe we should transition over to Octopath and just talk a little bit about that before my bandwidth gets eaten again.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so as I said earlier, Octopath sold 1 million units in less than 3 weeks, and I'm 33 hours into it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about various things, and I won't actually read this. I will just go through certain points and speak off the cuff. Let's see. Tips to start. Okay, I started Octopath Traveler with Therion, which is the thief, and that's because I love playing as a thief. You play Skyrim?
Oh, I love Skyrim. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm also pretty much in any RPG game. I'm either a thief or a mage, so I'm with you on the thief.
yeah. It's just fun to steal shit. It takes away a whole bunch of effort in the game. You can just have fun because you don't have to worry about money constantly.
Yeah.
And I also like being an assassin too, but that's just because I'm evil. So I started as Therion the Thief. Octopath Traveler has 8 main characters. Basically, they're all main characters because the stories don't intersect that much. I'll get into that in a minute. So I started as Therion, and his path ability is that he can steal from anyone, any NPC in any village, And you can also, he's like the rogue side of that, the light side of that, because there's a counterpart to each evil thing with a good thing. You could
Mm,
also play as Tressa the merchant and just buy those things from other people, but who wants to do that? You just want to steal it.
yeah.
But the point I was trying to get at, and I'm getting off because I'm not reading, I'm just going with the flow here, is I would not have started with him had I known better, because he's not powerful enough to be super useful in certain fights in the game, because it's all turn-based, old school JRPG stuff. So he's great. He's a little bit all-purpose. I would have started with a tank like Hanet, the Huntress, or Cyrus the Scholar / Black Mage. Those are really OP. So if anyone's listening and you get the game, start with one of those, or even like Obrick, who's the warrior. I hear he's pretty OP, but he's one of those characters I really don't care that much for, so I don't play him that much unless I have to. Anyway, I wanted to address a couple issues people have with the game. Some people claim that the battles in the game, again, it's turn-based RPG, so it's, you take a turn, they hit you, you hit them, that sort of thing. Some people claim that they're too long. I've never had a problem with that. They're kind of long. It depends. The boss battles are really long, but they're boss battles, so get over it.
Yeah. I agree with that a lot. Like I remember like a lot of games have really long boss battles, and like that's kind of the point of a boss battle. And there's many games that would punish you, like if you lost the boss battle, you have to like do the level before the boss battle again, and then do the boss battle from the start. And I think a lot of games have, in more recent years have made it pretty easy. Like you can save in the middle and stuff like that. And so that's it kind of defeats the purpose of boss battles. So I think people have gotten soft on boss battles. Shit used to be fucking hard. You used to have to like in the really old ones, you would just have to like the old Mario, you could get like so far into it and you'd literally just have to start from 1-1 at the beginning again. And it was so fucking frustrating, but it was so much more satisfying when you actually beat it. So I'm all about long fights, particularly long boss battles. I'm kind of sympathetic in like some turn-based games where like just the basic fights are really long because then grinding is more
Yeah.
tedious. It's like even more tedious. But so I don't know about that. I haven't played the game, so I don't know how long those ones are. But for boss battles, I'm all about give me a good fight. I'm sick of easy bosses. I'm all for the difficult shit. And that's another selling point for Zelda, but that's completely unrelated.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How long do you think you have the Switch for? A couple days yet?
Yeah, I've been playing for like 4 or 5 days.
So if you have it for a couple more days and you can, get away from Zelda, which I know is difficult, you could download the demo for Octopath Traveler. It's 3 hours long.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, and all your save files will go to the full game if you decide to buy it. This is how they fucking tricked me into buying it, because I don't buy $60 games, but
That's awesome.
I could not help it because I wanted to know Therion's story, which I really like his story. I like the story of all the characters, but so you give it a try and see what you think of it. It's very old school, but then it has the interesting like 2D, 3D graphics that I really like, and I love the battle system. The battle system's amazing. There's boost points you can save up to boost your attack, and there's a shield you have to break for all the enemies and stuff. But anyway, the point I was trying to get at is the battles aren't that long, and as you said, if the boss battles are long, well, that's because they're boss battles. Get over it.
Exactly.
Another thing people complain about is being grindy. I don't think it's that grindy. There certainly are a lot of random battles, but if you get later in the game, you'll be able to get a ability for Cyrus, the Black Mage, that'll make random battles less frequent. I haven't gotten it yet. I'm 32 hours into it. I hope to get it soon, but even without it, it's not too bad. And I've never had to grind up levels too much to defeat a boss or something. But I have done it a little bit. And another tip I wanted to give, if you're below, let's say, level 35 in the game for one of your characters and you want to level them up, go to North Swarkey Trail, Swarkii Trail. There, it's a tiny little spot in the woods. All the enemies that'll randomly attack you, they'll give you 100 XP, and the battles only take a couple minutes, so it's an easy place to level up.
Yeah, and all RPGs are supposed to have a little grinding. Like, some grinding is supposed to be there. Even like ones like Skyrim still, like, if you had to grind a bit to level up some of your skills and things, like, it's just part of the game. And I mean, some games are, that have too much grinding and only become about grinding. I'm looking at you, WoW. But the an RPG, like, by its nature, is like there's always going to be some grinding, so you can't complain just about the fact that there's any grinding. Like, some of these RPGs are like way too easy, where it's just like from boss battle to boss battle, and it's like, then you don't want to complete it in 5 hours. You want you want to actually have some time into it. Yeah, I also feel like when games are too grindy. But I was thinking, it made me think of Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advanced, and that game got pretty grindy at the end. And I remember I didn't grind enough for the final boss fight, and I got to it, and it's now impossible for me to beat it. But because of the nature of the thing, it saves right before the boss fight, and you can't go back out of it. So I can't like leave to grind. So that game has just never been completed for me.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, it's just been sitting there, never finished, because I'm not going to start it over from the very beginning.
Yeah, the way you save in Octopath Travelers, you'll find these save points. I don't even know what they are. They're like little columns or whatever, and you'll have one right before you go into a boss battle. But it's right outside, so you don't have to go directly into the cutscene and fight them. You could just leave and go grind some more and then come back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's helpful. Let's see here. The biggest complaint I've seen is the characters don't talk to each other or interact at all. But when I see that complaint, it makes me think the reviewers only played the 3-hour demo and didn't actually play more than that in a 70 to 100-hour game, because they do interact a little bit. What they have is called, what's it called? It's called Traveler Banter or Path Banter, I think, where you have to click a button. It's the X, and then the two characters will talk to each other about what's going on and this particular character story. But the stories are broken up into 8 pieces. And I like the structure because it's different. It reminds me of a movie that is character-driven rather than plot-driven, because Octopath Traveler doesn't have an overarching plot where, like, this band of, loners or whatever, this band of random people get together to fight this baddie who wants to destroy the universe. No, Octopath Traveler is about 8 separate people who have 8 separate stories, and it's about finding out what their story is. It's very personal in that way, and I like that. I like it because it's different. I don't need to play another game where I'm going to save the universe, because as much as I like that, sometimes it's kind of cliche. So I like that Square Enix tried something different. So I don't think any of these major complaints about Octopath Traveler are legitimate. The only complaint I have with the game is that the side quests are very mysterious. You know, you get a side quest, you see someone with what it happens is they have a big speech bubble. All the NPCs have speech bubbles that tell you, oh, I can talk to this one, because some of the people obviously are just walking around to do anything. And you go up to them and they have like an orange speech bubble. That means they have a side quest. And they're like, oh, I wish this woman would love me. And that's it. And like, you've started the jilted lover side quest or some shit. I don't know. And then you don't know what you have to do and you have to figure it out. And I figured it out a couple times. It's easy. Like recently, just on the road, I was going through, there was this guy who I just saw randomly. And you don't see a lot of NPCs out in the wild because the wild is fucking dangerous. There are fucking crazy monsters everywhere. And he's like, so I went up and talked to him, and he's like, well, if you don't give me some money, something bad might happen to you. And, oh, okay. So obviously what I need to do is I need to beat this fucker up. And and I did, and that finished the side quest, right?
That's awesome.
But it didn't tell me that I needed to beat him up. All it was you've started a side quest, and he told me that I better give him some money or something bad will happen. Right?
Only the streetwise know they're being mugged in that situation.
Pretty much. I mean, you can walk away, so it's not quite, you know, it's an RPG, but it's a game. It's not quite, you know. But the point is, they didn't tell me what I needed to do to solve that. So I do believe that is a legitimate criticism of the game, because some of the side quests, you just kind of have to figure it out, you know. And I feel like I will have to, if I want to finish all of them, which I doubt I will, because that'll take for fucking ever, but if I want to finish all of them, if I want to find all of them and finish all of them, I may have to use a walkthrough. And I don't want to do that.
No. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, and there's a side quest I'm going to bring up in a minute here that I might use a walkthrough for, only because it's very interesting to socialists. So I'm going to get to that right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've discovered a couple things in the game that are of interest to socialists. First of all, there's Tressa's story, particularly her chapter 2. Tressa is the merchant. In it, she comes upon a mining town where she meets a fellow wandering merchant named Ali, who undercuts her, and then later she has her and his merchandise claimed by the local feudal capitalist landlord, who controls the mine and gives the independent contractors who dig up the gold a penance for what they found, because it's all his anyway, you see. And throughout that, you get these this dialogue from her about how you shouldn't be harming these people and you shouldn't be undercutting them. And the whole time, and I tweeted about this, like, but what is profit exactly, Tressa? I mean, this guy is stealing from you through his Lockean property rights, right? But then your friend Ali stole from you by undercutting you in the marketplace, and you steal from other people through profit. So there's a lot of, but then it's like she's a kind, adventurous girl. She's just like naive, and her worldview is based on garbage ideology, right?
Yeah.
But you know,
that's most of us.
That's true. That is true. But in regards to, you know, what might be of interest to socialists, she has a sense that she's somehow different from throughout the story, but fundamentally, whether it's Ali undercutting her, or in the free market, or the landowner using his Lockean property rights to secure his monopoly, they are all the same. And if you play the game and you go to a chapter 2, you'll see that. One thing I've noticed is a lot of people think Tress is very innocent, because she just went out in the world by herself. It's her first time, and you know, she doesn't mean anything. And you know, I agree with them. She's very innocent, but she's not pure. She's corrupted by a trash can. She's corrupted by the trash can of ideology, and she's eating from it every day. At one point, she gets in an argument with Therion in one of those banter things, and she says, "I don't want to listen to criticism or advice from a thief like she's pure." And I'm like, "No, fuck you. Fuck you. Therion is pure. Therion is a thief. He knows that this world is bullshit, and he should be able to take what he needs to survive." So if you do the chapter 2, you'll see a lot of that, and you'll see a lot of stuff you could critique as a socialist. It's kind of interesting. I'm wondering where her chapters go, because a lot of people have really dark stories, and her story is very like lighthearted, but at the same time, it's full of like capitalist, just naivety. So I don't know what's
Might
going
be the darkest of them all.
It could be. It could be. I hope so. Actually, that'd be great. Another one that's much more interesting to a socialist, maybe, is there is a side quest in Boulder Fall, which is a city in the mountains where that's literally broken up into 3 layers. The lowest layer has the paupers, the middle layer has the petite bourgeoisie, or as some NPC said, we're somewhere in the middle, and then the upper level is where the bourgeoisie nobility lives. And there's a side quest called Pauper Revolution. The paupers are getting angry, they're rising up, and if you talk to the soldiers in the petite bourgeoisie area and noble area, they'll be like, yeah, we know what's happening, we don't know what to do, we're getting scared. And I'm really interested where it goes. Unfortunately, though, I have seen some like tweets that kind of imply it's going to be one of those stories where it's, oh, the nobles are kind-hearted, assuredly they will help the paupers.
They're so benevolent.
They're so benevolent. Which,
no, without questioning why there are paupers and nobles in the first place.
Yeah. It's the whole like charity thing, charity rather than systemic change.
But you don't see human nature. Everybody's selfish, which is why we should solve all our issues with charity.
Yeah, that's basically what's going to happen, I think. I've seen some screenshots. I haven't gone through the whole thing. This is the side quest I probably will get a walk through just so I can finish it, to see if I have the option to help the revolution rather than hinder it in some way, because I know there are ways to hinder it. Because I know I've read a little bit. I know there are multiple ways to finish it with multiple people. I'm going to try with Therion because I feel like a thief would help the paupers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But it's interesting that it's even in this game at all, honestly, because it's definitely political in that way. So even if it ends with a very liberal, the fucking nobility will help the paupers with philanthropy, even if it ends with that, I have to give them credit for having it in there. And you got to say, with this little revolutionary kind of very overt symbolism, we got the paupers, the middle class, the upper class in there with that, and with all the sex work themes in Primrose's story, which are very dark. You got to give them credit for being kind of adult with the game. It's not a game for children.
That's cool.
Yeah. Primrose's stuff, though, you could even say that Primrose's stuff is problematic, but I'm just saying that at least they put it in there and they didn't make it for kids. You know? It's like her pimp is like a literal abuser and a rapist.
Well, I feel like hopefully they portrayed that as obviously bad, but I assume they would. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then some people say, some of the more liberal people say, well, maybe we should have had some sex workers in there who like being sex workers. I think that's a bit. I mean, no, those people exist, and thank God they do.
They do. Of course, there's consensual sex work, but I don't know. It seems like her story wasn't about that. But
yeah, it seems like that's a bit much to ask of a RPG. I'm surprised there's any of that in there at all. I mean, at one point, this is a game. This is a Nintendo exclusive. Remember that, okay, kids? The Nintendo exclusive. At one point, one of Primrose's friends just read out and says that she's a whore.
Damn.
And this is not for kids, this game.
Wow, that's good for Nintendo for adding some, content for the most of us who are adults now but grew up with Nintendo. But that's awesome.
This game is definitely for adults who grew up on like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I could talk about this game all day. I just wanted to give a little rundown on a few things, a few tips, and say how much I love the game. And I really, really like the game. It's hard to describe the battle system, but the battle system is really satisfying. I've liked all the stories. I've done all the chapter 1s. There are 4 chapters for each of the 8 characters. and I've done about 4 of the chapter 2s. So I've got 4 more chapter 2s. So I'm actually almost exactly halfway through the narrative part of the game, and I'm really loving it. 33 hours in. I've got at least 40 hours more to go. So
Nice.
I'll talk about it again at some other point.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to try the trial and check that out. 3-hour trial. That's pretty dope.
I think that's part of the reason it sold so well. Like, that was really smart of them.
Yeah, definitely. Gets you hooked in the story, and then you can't,
Yeah.
you can't just leave it hanging like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to get into it too, people have found out that you can just stop at 2 hours, 59 minutes, and then just start a new save with a different character. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's a good tip.
Yeah. If you don't like the character, you can at least do that,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I wanted to start a new segment after this called Communalist Solution of the Week. I saw this being talked about by Demand Utopia, and I think it's a good idea. So this week, it's about the police. What did I write here? In the wake of pig fuckers literally murdering leftists, trying to keep actual Nazis out of Portland, it behooves us to imagine a world without police, but what might replace them? How's about a non-hierarchical, all-volunteer neighborhood watch that is fully accountable to a local popular assembly? What do you think of that?
Yes.
Yes, I think
Yes, that is exactly like that. I think the role of police could be uh, taken over by that, and already we have, the operator infrastructure of the police, like a central operating service that can distribute to other services. So how about we have like on that service like mental health services, like emergency mental health services or
Yeah.
emergency social work services, or unarmed detectives who can still solve crimes that aren't like coming in and kicking in doors and shooting at black kids. We don't need literal like armed thugs patrolling every block. That sounds more like a fucking gang than uh, a protective community watch.
Mhm.
So policing has historically been done by the community, and I think that's the best way to do it in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should have a kind of a self-defense force that answers to the people directly instead of a bureaucratic system of the state. That's just kind of what
Hmm.
I'm thinking about there. And but even that would be separate from the neighborhood watch, which would just be to watch and to tell people what's going on. I mean, in our
Totally.
in our
Well,
society, most people would have guns. We're not liberals.
yeah, and I think, in general, by building community, like by actually having social relationships within your community
Hmm.
and a strong network of ties, it just does the function of a neighborhood watch naturally, like by that system of building a community. And it's not like this, uh, people like sitting out and watching their neighbors and not
Oh
trusting
no.
each other, like that kind of shit. It's like, no, like as you build a community, just naturally, and
Hmm.
when something goes wrong with that community, it will respond
Yeah.
and defend itself and its own members.
Well, I was talking about something a little bit more formalized, but we don't even need that. You're right. But even if we did have something a little more formalized, it would still be answerable to the popular assembly. So it wouldn't be like they would be spying on people to tell the governor or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you have an accusation, you put it before the popular assembly in front of everyone. And, so you're less likely to make a false accusation, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's just an idea. I'm just throwing out ideas for their.
Yeah, there's little things that would have to be ironed out, but
Yeah.
that's what the popular assembly is for. But yeah, like certain things I can think of, like sometimes you don't feel safe reporting a crime, because
Yeah.
of who the perpetrator is or something. But
Yeah.
part of that is also due to the current like social power, hierarchical relationships we have in our current society. So as we erase those, maybe some of those situations won't exist in the same way. But I don't know. Those are details to be ironed out by, a group of intelligent, well-educated members of our community coming together and discussing it democratically.
Yeah. And I mean, this this doesn't even get into the fact that there will just be less crime. I mean, first of all, a lot of things that are crimes now would not be crimes at all.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's some of the issues that can be raised just might not even exist in the first place, in a society where that is not structured and with the social relationships and the, uh, you know, uh, disproportionately distributed power that we have currently.
Yeah, and I think a lot of crimes are clearly economic crimes. And if we have a society that takes care of people, then a lot of that'll just go away.
Yep.
Well, this has been a pretty good episode, I think. I think we're going to probably wrap it up now, though. Where can we find you, Cheetah Squad?
You can find me on Twitter. When I was making my accounts, I wasn't really thinking about people finding me anywhere, so it's always kind of difficult. Clicking on links may be the best way, but I'm at CheetahSquad, or I'm at motherfucking Cheetah on Twitter, which is MUH fucking without the G, and then Cheetah, but there's no H on the end because I ran out of characters. But you can also check out my page on Facebook, which is motherfucking Cheetah, I think, as well. And that one has like a lot more meme activity and some original content. There will be more when I get a computer again. And there's also more people that follow that page as well than my Twitter. My Twitter is a nice little baby account. But yeah, there'll probably be links in the description for those.
Oh, yeah, I'll put those up later today. And I was going to say, I feel your pain. I really don't have a computer. This is a Chromebook, which is like halfway between a computer and nothing. So
yeah. Yeah, I'll probably be buying myself a Chromebook or a similar little netbook soon, just so that I have some device to actually do some of the productive things I need to do on the internet.
Yeah, Leftendo is the gaming media shitcast of the proletariat. We is poor people.
We is poor, that's for sure. But it's fun anyway, and nonetheless, we'll continue to try and bring this hard-hitting content to you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm at Anarcho Murphy on Twitter. That's primarily where you can find me. You can also check out my website, www.solarpunk.ninja, where I, put up these shows and sometimes C-Lab 2021 fanfic and just weird shit. Okay, what else we got? Well, if you didn't like the show, please send all complaints to chris.mitchell@reason.com. And that's about it. Thank you all for listening. I will talk to you again next week. Probably, maybe not. I don't know. I felt like shit today. I didn't even get into the fact that I got Medicaid again, man. I've been feeling like shit.
Wow. You got Medicaid again. That's a good thing, I assume.
Oh, that's fucking. Oh, you're Canadian. I forgot. Well, Medicaid is like decent-ish insurance for poor people, right?
Nice. Yeah.
And you have to be really poor, which I am, thank Christ, in this sense, because I actually get insurance. And it's really hard to get. So
it's fucked up how America has like this caste of poor people who are poor, but not poor enough that they don't qualify for benefits. So then they're like, they're like even worse off for being like slightly not poor. It is very strange. But our healthcare isn't perfect here either. But it's definitely not better than that. It's better than that. Yeah. My girlfriend, who is American and leeching off of our healthcare system up here, God bless her heart, pays $900 for the year, and that gives her access to like basically everything. Everything but dental. Dental isn't socialized up here, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I know. That's bullshit. Everything should be socialized. Fuck it.
Yep, I agree.
Well, anyway,
Waluigi forever.
Waluigi forever. I will be back next week with or without Cheetah, hopefully with someone. And see you all later. Goodbye. Peace.
Peace.